What is going on, guys? We are here today with the first round, the wild card round recap from this past weekend between all the teams that played on wild card weekend. This is going to be a shorter video. I do have the Ohio State-Alabama game coming up here in a few minutes. So this isn't going to be a long recap. If you want a long recap, I gave you a long recap about the Saints-Bears game. It was about 30 minutes long. This is just going to be a short one. And just go about how much potential I see in these teams to make the Super Bowl, to make it all the way. We started it off this weekend with a game that I was very excited about. The Bills and the Colts, two teams that are hard-hitting. You had Phillip Rivers on one side, just an experienced veteran, a very good defense from the Colts. And then you got Josh Allen on the other side with Stephon Diggs, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. He actually went down in this game. Colt Beasley, he was limping his way through it. And at the end of the game, the Bills ended up picking up the victory. The Bills, I think they're going to be a dangerous team. I think they're going to be a team that when we're talking about betting odds, I would put money on the Bills making it to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl, especially because if you bet early, you don't have to bet a lot, but if you put your money on the Bills early and they do win, you get a big payout. So instead of going with the favorited Chiefs, or if you're just not into picking the big guy, I think the Bills are a safe bet here because they're going to be up against the Ravens next week. I'll be doing those predictions later this week. But to me, at least, the Bills, they are a team to be watched out for here in the playoffs. Then we got into the second slate of games. We got into our first upset of the day. We had the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Los Angeles Rams. And now the Los Angeles Rams started this game off with John Wolford, a quarterback that was from Wake Forest. He necessarily wasn't going to be great here. But a hit from Jamal Adams early on led Jared Goff. Yes, the broken finger of Jared Goff. He was able to play in this game, and he won this game for the Rams. The Seahawks on offense, they looked miserable. They could not get anything going. They were almost as bad as watching Chicago play offense. They just could not do anything. Aaron Donald was owning the entire Seahawks offensive line. He owned Russell Wilson, and it was just abysmal. As for next week, the Rams will be traveling to Green Bay to play the Packers. That one's going to be much different. That one is much different than you're facing the Seahawks. This isn't a mobile quarterback. This is a better O-line. The Rams, they have a tough task ahead of them. I'm not very hopeful for their playoff future, but hopefully they can get the job done in Green Bay next week. Then we finished it off on Sunday. On Saturday night, we had the Titans and the Titans game wasn't Saturday night. It was the football team versus the Buccaneers. You had Chase Young going up against Tom Brady. The first time we got to see that matchup in the playoffs. Tom Brady, I don't know why anybody would ever expect him to lose here. But I'll tell you what, Taylor Heineke, the quarterback of the football team, he stepped up. I did not think this game was going to be close, especially when we got the news that Alex Smith was not going to be in there. When they said Taylor Heineke was playing, I was like, well, they just basically gave the Buccaneers a championship, or at least a first-round bye, essentially. I figured it was going to be pretty simple. Heineke came in there. You got to give him a lot of props. I do know that I have a couple of football team fans watching my videos, mostly because I completely disrespected their team going into the playoffs because I did not think they stood a chance against the Buccaneers, but they held their own. Taylor Heineke, if I'm the football team, I'm looking into re-signing that guy. It doesn't have to be some massive deal. I don't think he's going to gain any massive traction, but I would look into signing him because he could be the guy of your future. I mean, yeah, it's one game, but it could be something big that you got in Taylor Heineke. But for the football team, they ended up coming short against the Buccaneers. What are you going to do? It's Tom Brady. I think all of America was counting you guys out. The fact that you hung around as long as you did was impressive, but at the end of the day, you're not beating TB12, especially in the first round, especially if you have Chase Young talking shit all week. It's just not happening. Then we get into Sunday. We start Sunday off hot. We get the Titans-Ravens to start the morning. This was a game I was looking forward to. I figured this was going to be a hard-hitting game. These are two teams that just aren't very friendly with each other. Obviously, we know the story of them dancing on each other's logos. Narrative going into this, Lamar Jackson has not won a playoff game. And early on, it looked like Lamar Jackson did not come to play. Threw an early interception. It was a miserable interception. Threw it like it was a punt. Just lofted it up there right into the hands of a waiting Titans defender. I don't remember who intercepted it. I think it might have been Dory Jackson or Desmond. I don't remember which one it was. But the Titans, they couldn't get anything going with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had 18 carries for like 40 yards. Couldn't get anything going. They didn't really get anything going in the pass game. It was 17-13. Not much offense here. This game is just, I mean, if you like defensive football, that's what you got in this game. It wasn't anything spectacular. We did have a nice run from Lamar Jackson, about 50-yard run there. That was probably the coolest thing that happened all day. But the Ravens just didn't let them do anything offensively, and that's what won them the football game. And if they can do that against Josh Allen next week in Buffalo, then they're going to have some problems on the Buffalo side of things, because, I mean, even if Lamar Jackson isn't playing at an MVP level, even if Lamar Jackson's struggling offensively, if you can put up maybe 17 points and the defense plays exactly like they played this game, it's going to give Josh Allen a hard time. You might got a shot at going to the AFC Championship game. Then we get into the embarrassment of what was Chicago versus New Orleans. Go watch the full video on that. That's just, the Saints won. The Saints, they won in every aspect of the game. It was embarrassing. The Bears, I thought the football team didn't deserve to be in there. The Bears absolutely did not deserve to be in there. I know they had a better record than the football team, but they did not deserve. They looked like the team out of place. Bears, we're not even going to talk anymore about them. They got killed. Saints, do I think they had a great game? Absolutely not. But they just embarrassed Chicago. Then we get into the last game of the night. We had the Steelers and the Browns, and they made it questionable. The Browns, they started off hot. They were up 28-0, but they almost blew it at one point, but the Browns came back around and finished out the job. Cleveland fans, rejoice. You got your first playoff win, and I don't remember how many years. I think it was 20-something years. But your team, do I think you got much of a shot against the Chiefs next week? No, I really don't. I hate to say it. You're going against Patrick Mahomes. You're going against Tyreek Hill. You're going against McCole Hardman. You're going against Sammy Watkins. You're going up against CEH. You're going up against a lot of good offensive players. And I know that you were good in the first half against the Steelers, but the second half defensively, you weren't as good. The Chiefs, they're going to press you all game. It's not going to be a half. And even if they do just press you for one quarter, their quarters can go 28-0 in an instant. Their defense is solid enough that they could have a 28-point quarter against you, because it takes them about 2 minutes to score a touchdown, maybe even less. You're in trouble if you're the Browns. You're in trouble. Chase Claypool said it, and I'll say it here. They're getting clapped. Full predictions of this week. Slate of games will be out on Thursday, but I just wanted to give you a quick recap of what went down this past weekend here in the playoffs. But thank you guys for watching. I'll be speaking to you guys later this week for my divisional round preview and predictions.